Good morning, everyone. My name is Karla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is FlossTube number 182. It is Sunday, March 12th. This year just seems to be flying by, guys. I can't even explain it. It just seems like everything are just progressing so fast. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I want to say welcome. Thank you for stopping by my channel. If this is your first time finding my channel, hopefully you like what you see. Want to hit like and subscribe. If you are one of my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back and spending this time with me. It is definitely a highlight to my week. I mean, I enjoy doing the videos, but really I think what the highlight is that is the comments that I get, and seeing that people have watched it and are enjoying what I put out, and that is the highlight of my week, to be able to connect with all of you guys. I want to give a huge thank you to Peggy Salos for using my super thanks button last week. I appreciate it so much, Peggy. Thank you so much for clicking on that button and giving me a little bit of a monetary tip. It's very easy to use. You guys don't have to go to any other site. It's just right there on the screen, right under me. And it is just a way, if you want to give a monetary thank you, for it to go right to my channel and help with basically the expenses of my channel at this point are the monthly Zoom costs and mailing, when I do send out mailings and stuff like that. So there is a bit of expense to doing this, aside from just my time. Although my time's valuable, right? And any little bit of thank you, monetary thank you, does help, and I really appreciate it. I don't expect it. Obviously I'm not doing this to become a millionaire, but it does help to offset a few of the costs. So, weather report for Southern California. It has been kind of in the low mid-60s, and I think it's going to continue that way through next week. I think maybe Wednesday or Thursday it's going to get up to like 67, 68. I think that's going to be the highest point during the week. And we are going to have some rain. We had a lot of rain on Friday this past week, and then I think we're looking at rain again on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. It's not supposed to rain today. In fact, it's supposed to be sunny, but it is not sunny now. It is very like gray and gloomy looking, and it looks like it's gonna rain, but the forecast says it's not. So no more snow, but it was pretty wet at certain points last week, and I think it's gonna be like that again. So a reminder, next week on Sunday, after my video, well, I'm hoping my video will come out beforehand, but you never know with the way that YouTube works. I will be having our monthly Zoom at 2 o'clock Pacific time. So please, if you have any interest, try it out. Join us. It is, I think, very fun to get together with some of the Stitchy community and just stitch and talk and chit chat and all that kind of thing. So yeah, so that will be next week. So speaking of talking about doing a channel and stuff, I want some feedback from you guys, because occasionally I'll come across a channel that is a brand new channel, and somebody will post a video, and within a week they have 10,000 views. How does that happen on a FlossTube channel? Because I've been doing this for over 3 years now, and I am not complaining at all. I'm very happy with my core followers and you guys who watch me faithfully. I mean, it warms my heart. But I have 400 to 600 views on a video. And I do this every single week. I mean, you guys you can count on me. How does somebody put out one video and get 10,000 views? I don't understand. What are they doing? What is the magic formula? let me know. Let me know how that happens. Do they know somebody who's like shouting them out? Do I need to meet this person? Let me know, because I swear I saw that on somebody, and I can't even remember the name of the person. I think they have 2 videos out now, and their second one is not anywhere near that. But the first one was like 10,000 views within like 2 or 3 days. And how does that happen? I don't get it. I mean, it's more likely to happen if it's a guy, but this wasn't even a guy. So, and it was a FlossTube. It was just having a whip parade, you know? My whip parade gets 1,000 views after like, you know, a month. So how does that happen? Explain it to me, please. I still don't know how FlossTube works. All right, so new things this week, just to chit chat about 2 things that I did this week or signed up for that are new. The first one is I actually signed up for a dating service. Not a dating service, but, you know, a site. And now I'm having slight buyer's remorse. But the reason I did it is because although I have kind of no inclination to date, I do have an inclination to meet somebody, and I'm never going to meet somebody sitting in my apartment and doing FlossTube. I mean, I love you guys, but the majority of you are women, and unless you have brothers that you want to introduce me to, yeah, I'm not going to meet any kind of love of my life by doing a cross-stitch video. So I decided that, you know, you're not gonna move forward unless you take a step. So I went ahead and I signed up for this thing, and I answered some messages. I decided to do it this time kind of like to this is gonna sound so cynical. I kind of decided to answer messages like a guy. So in other words, when I was younger and I went on sort of internet dating apps, which I did. I met my husband through there, and I can't complain too much. I mean, it didn't end up well, but it was really good for the 5 or 6 years that we were together at the beginning. I would write a book. I write a huge paragraph about myself. If somebody wrote to me, I would write a book back. And men don't do that. Men write a one-line thing, and then, you know, when you are messaging them, they write quips or one-line sentences, and you know, it's very rare that you meet a guy that actually writes a lot. So I decided to be like a guy, and I wrote like kind of a one sentence profile, and you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I can always revise it later, but I don't know. Let me know what your feelings are about the whole dating thing if you are in a position where you're trying to do that. Here at the in the 4th year of the pandemic, it's kind of a scary thing to do, because whether, I mean, yes, I'm vaccinated and all that kind of stuff, it's still, the idea of meeting somebody new and being in close proximity with somebody new is kind of a scary thing, you know, and unfortunately, politics was never something that I would really worry about before when meeting somebody new, because I figured I can get along, we can agree to disagree, but not so much anymore. I think that there's certain political views that would be unacceptable for me, so that has to come into the mix. It's a whole big thing, but I took the step. So that was one thing I did. The other thing that I did this week, which actually has been a lot more fun so far, is my friend introduced me to a site called Board Game Arena, which is a free site. I guess you can join, you can pay something and you get a little bit more, but it's perfectly usable free. And basically, if you enjoy like board gaming, it's a way to do it online with friends, with strangers. You can play solitaire type things as well. But she and I, yesterday, I was working, I did some little golden book journal work, and at the same time I was on my computer, and we were on the phone, we were talking too. And we played like 2 or 3 different board games. We tried them out. It was fun. We played one called Cromino, I think it's called Cromino, which is kind of like dominoes, but it's these, each tile has 3 colored squares, and you have to match the colors. And then we played a couple other like card type game, you know, where you lay down cards. Not like regular cards, but like, you know, this one had cards that had little birds and flowers on it, and you have to match them in this grid. And then there's this other one called, I want to say Azul. I think it's Azul. And it's either, you know, it's like tiles. And the tiles actually on that one kind of look like sort of Scandinavian type tiles. And so it was fun. In fact, we are playing that game because you can play it, a turn-based thing, where basically she will play a thing, and then I'll get an email saying it's my turn, and I go onto the site and I play it, and then she'll get an email saying, you know, it's her turn again. And yeah, and so you can set up stuff like that. Anyway, it was fun. I'm saying this because if there's anybody out there who like maybe wants to play board games occasionally or do that turn-based thing, I would be open to that as another way to connect. Obviously, it has nothing to do with cross stitch, but you know, I'm trying to expand my community of my apartment. So anyway, those were two things that were new to me this week. Okay, so as I said yesterday when I was on with my friend Tracy, one of the things actually when I messaged her, because she told me about this board game arena last week or early in the week, and so I messaged her this week and I'm like, hey, Saturday, why don't we do that? Why don't we get together on the phone call and we can play games, because I want to sit at my desk and work on some little Golden Book journal stuff. So that's what I was doing. So I was very like multitasking, and I got, I think, quite a bit of stuff done. So I finished all of my I don't know what to call these. Other people have called them maze papers. So these are the ones that have the little these things, which everybody who gets a book, it just, they love this thing. This is just a really cute thing. So I finished all of them for all of my books that I'm planning on doing before the end of the year. And then I went through my my coloring books. So I went onto eBay when I first started this whole little Golden Book Journal process, and I don't remember if I told you guys this or not, but I went on eBay, and a couple years ago when adult coloring sort of took off, right? Joanna Bascom had these books that they're gorgeous. And like there's like 5 of them. They were really expensive. They were like $25. I really wanted them, and I think I got one of them, but they're just gorgeous books, right? If you enjoy adult coloring, which in theory I do, but then I never actually do it. But anyway, so I really wanted them at the time that they came out. I think this might have been the first one, The Secret Garden. When I first started doing the little Golden Book journals, I knew I wanted to have coloring pages in there, just as another page, because I just think it's kind of a cool thing to have, and then you can color it or not color it or whatever. And I went onto eBay and looked them up, and I got all of them for like $2 or $3 each. A couple of them have a couple pages colored in them, but you know, it was ridiculous. So I got all of the books for less than the cost of the first one. So I do use these in my little Golden Book journals, and I went through and I pulled out a bunch of pages that I thought would work and cut them down. You know, the thing is that some of them don't really lend themselves to either the size of the book or whatever, but I was able to get a whole stack of them cut. So I have these. So that is another component. I showed you guys these before. These are not finished. These are my small kind of pull-out journals that I'm going to put in each one of these, which I haven't in the past, although I've made these before and I really like them. So I thought that would be a nice little addition. So those aren't done. The pages aren't in them, but the cover part is done. So that is where I am in the little Golden Book process. So that was nice to get some of that stuff done. Okay, so on to other crafting. I actually have, oh, before I do that, I hung up Eva. Like I said, I was going to hang it on that thing, so it's actually kind of hanging down like a flag. So what do you guys think? When I put it up, I like the way it looks. I think it's going to kind of be cool to have that type of thing going all the way across. I don't have a lot of wall space in my apartment, so it's kind of, I think, kind of cool to use that space, you know, to the only thing that it does, that when I'm in my kitchen, which I'm not in my kitchen that much anymore because I am on a cooking strike, I catch it and I think that a cabinet door's open because I see it hanging there, but that's just a matter of getting used to it. I think it looks good there. So anyway, okay, so I did have a new start this week, partly because the diamond painting that I showed you guys last week, I hung it on my landscape wall. I have three now, a diamond painting landscapes up there, and it made me want to do another one. So because I have like 3 or 4, I got rid of a lot of my diamond paintings. I gave them away to friends and stuff, and yeah, I just called down because I'm just not doing it very much. But I did keep these landscapes, and this one, I don't think you're going to really be able to see the picture. It's so tiny, but I call it Purple Path. This is calling it Tree. This is probably one of those inexpensive kits that I got from, what was it called? Something Frog. It's not that anymore. But anyway, I just did a little bit. I started it, but it'll be a cute, pretty one to hang. And you know, I don't know how often I'll work on this. I actually have 2 other diamond paintings that are kind of on the go, elephant ones that are for that wall. But I felt like doing another landscape because I was so happy with the way the one that has been sitting here for 2 years unframed looks now that I have it on the wall. So I went ahead and I started a diamond painting. So I don't know, maybe I'll work on that a little bit today before I get into my stitching. Okay, so now into stitching. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm like on my notes where I'm lost. Okay, so what did I work on this week? I worked on my green lace mandala a little bit, which is not really in my March themes, but you know, I just felt the need. So I finished this sort of border line and started this part. So what this is, so this was put out because this is actually what they call a true mystery when she was doing mysteries, and it came out in 3 parts. So the first part was just this middle section. The second part was these triangles and these flowers right here and this outer border, and then the third part is these corner pieces. So this inner part is done. I haven't done these flowers yet because those are done with like backstitch and like a lazy daisy stitch, and I wanted to get the regular cross stitches done in this outside part first. So this is just like, it's this black kind of line, and then these I want to call them onions because in Russian architecture, I think they call that an onion when it has that shape on the top of a building. I want to get those done. And then, I know it's hard to see, but there's a little bit of like filigree. That's in part 3. So anyway, so that's what I worked on. I got the outline finished, which did require counting. I mean, you know, not difficult counting, but it was like 15 and then a space and 15 and then a space. So I had to make sure I was counting correctly. And then I started on these little shapes. So I'll probably do all those shapes in the black and then start filling them in. I was debating on if I should start filling in as I go, but I don't know. I'll have to see when I get to that point. But I really love working on this Chatelaine. So, and I've said it before, I think this is like the perfect size for me because it is girthy enough that, you know, it's going to take me a year to get it done, but it's not so big that it's going to take me many years. And I like the fact that I have 3 or 4 of those, you know, that are ready to start after I finish this one. Okay. I worked on Pinky and Blue Boy. These are charted by Artisy, Pinky by Sir Thomas Lawrence, and Blue Boy by Thomas Gainsborough. These paintings currently reside at the Huntington Museum and Botanical Gardens, which is, I think, in Pasadena. I have seen them in real life. My mom had prints of them. I have them actually. They're over there. I have to hang them up. They've always been a part of my house. And so when I saw that they were available to do as a cross-stitch chart, I was really excited. I'm doing them on a piece of Jobelan. Gotta say, as far as doing full coverage, I'm not 100% thrilled with the Jobelan. It's a little fuzzy, which means it's a little harder to see the holes than I would like working on a full coverage. But I am managing to do it. So, I always think this is funny. So, Pinky right now is only blue because it's the background. So, I finished that diagonal. And then Blue Boy is sort of brown red right now, and I didn't quite finish this diagonal. So I might finish this today too, just so that I'm kind of putting them back on an even keel. So I am doing them on the same piece of fabric, and I'm working on them at the same time. So in other words, I do a diagonal of Pinky, and then I do a diagonal of Blue Boy. And I'm just doing it that way because I want them to grow at the same rate. I don't want to be finished with one and then have the other one. You know, I want them to be a set. When they are finished, then they will be cut apart in framed or finished, however I decide to finish them separately, and then hung together again, because they've always been together, even though they were not painted at the same time. They were painted about 100 years apart, but they have become a couple. And so, I mean, I know right now we're talking about background. It's not that exciting, but it is what it is. That is Pinky and Blue Boy. I really think that they are the only, let's see, Grandmaster type paintings that I have an interest in stitching. But I was really excited to actually do those. Okay. I worked on Gigi this week. This is another Bewitching Pixie by Manuela. And last year I started this project of doing a bunch of these Bewitching Pixies on backgrounds type fabric like Eva. And I really love it. And I think that finishing them that way is really good as far as these background type fabrics. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. What is it about doing FlossTube that you get the itchy nose? Oh, sorry. Oh. Where was I? Oh, yes, because I don't want to lose the fabric when I finish it. But I also don't want to like have this huge framed thing when really the stitched part is a tiny bit of it. So, yeah, so she's being done on this cottage fabric, and I just think it looks so really cool. My opinion, but so those are the background fabrics are Dove Stitch. not Dove Stitch, Fabric Flare. Dove Stitch is a company that you can buy them from. But actually, Fabric Flare website, not on Etsy, the regular Fabric Flare website is where you're going to find the most. So I worked in here, some more, and in this black. So, you know, basically I have this whole area to finish and then the broom. But I think she looks really good on this fabric. I like the way it kind of becomes three-dimensional. I had an idea at one point that there's an owl on one of the other patterns that I was gonna put maybe on the top of the roof, but it doesn't work size-wise. So that is Gigi. I do kind of have a goal to get her done this week or this month. So we'll see if that will get accomplished. I'm kind of not stressing myself with those goals. I'm just kind of using them as a guideline. And then probably what will happen is all of these ones that I have that I'm wanting to get a finish on, if I don't get a finish on them, then at the end of the year, then that will be what I'm doing the big push. And that's what I've done the last couple of years, and that's worked really well. Okay, Bellatrix. She is a Bella Filipina. I think she's one of the most popular Bella Filipinas, so it's not like a big, you know, everybody kind of knows what she looks like. And there she is in all her glory. And what did I work on this week? I worked on this shawl type thing. I think I got that pretty much done. And then I worked on these half stitches. I was a half stitch off on my half stitches. So there's a section of it. I have to make sure I don't count off of them because they're slightly off. And it's not going to matter because it's just like a little background thing. I just got to make sure that I get back on track. You can see right like there, it like doesn't match up exactly right. Again, it's not going to matter. And I didn't discover it till I was like way done. I'd done a lot and I absolutely was not going to pull it out. So that is where I am on Bellatrix. She's so pretty. So pretty. I really like her a lot. And this is a hand-dyed by Rolanda fabric. One of my absolute favorites. Okay, I worked on Sleeping Dragons Lie, or Let Sleeping Dragons Lie, which is a no background, full coverage by Amy Brown, charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. And this is going to take me 3,000 years to finish because it's huge. Here I am, miss. I'm never going to do any full coverage that isn't a mini or a quick stitch because it'll take too long, and fell in love with this one, which is 650 by 459. So yeah, and I console myself by telling myself that it is no background, so it'll not take as long. But let's get real. Okay. So here's my huge piece of fabric that I dyed, and this is a Lugana, as I said, that I dyed, and I really like stitching on the Lugana. The holes are so easy to see, even though it's tiny. This one, it takes me a minute to get into it, only because I'm going from a different corner than I'm used to. I'm stitching up from the lower right, which is different. Totally doable, but when I sit down to start doing it, my brain has to go into the correct mode. So I finished a diagonal on that, still kind of in the green grass corner that I probably will be in for quite a while before I hit something else. That is the reason I started in that corner though, is because I'm going to hit, you know, interesting things sooner, I think. But I think I'm still like right here. So it's going to take a little while to hit dragon. But there's so many, like when you're doing a chart like this, all of a sudden you're like, I didn't know that there were so many shades of grassy, you know, yellowy green. When I started this, I was a little bit up on the diagonal. I didn't start at the very beginning of the diagonal. I had done a little bit before. That first row that I stitched when I started this week was, you know, I do a 10 stitch row. There were 9 colors in that 10 stitch row. So that gives you an idea of when I first started it, the confetti was intense. And then it smoothed out a little bit where it was like, you know, 4 or 5 colors per row instead of 9. But you know, that's part of the charm of full coverage. Wait, I'm holding it wrong. It's like this. You can see how big the piece of fabric is that I dyed. Okay. And if any of you are interested, you know, these little like book pouches that I got from Amazon, that holds a full coverage. Now, obviously the entire pattern isn't in here. I have like 4 pages of it folded up in here, and the rest, you know, I have in storage, but still it holds all that fabric and, you know, 100 colors of floss. So those are pretty good. Okay. And then last but not least, Pea Fairy, which I worked on a couple times this week. So obviously I'm enjoying this one. This is my first Joan Elliot. So when we're talking about my fancy ladies right now, I have a Joan Elliot, Bella Filipina, and Mirabilia all going at once, which I kind of like. So this is my sweet Pea Fairy. One of the things I love about her fairies is I like that they're so like earth goddessy. I mean, I know I have another one that's actually called Earth Goddess, but they're kind of like 60s, 70s, like hippie. And I don't know, it makes me happy. I like the ones that they're like sitting on the ground, that they're not just standing there being fairies. They're like in the ground, you know, in the grass. And this is also on a hand-dyed by Rolanda fabric. So I did the bodice of her, and I started, I don't know if you'll be able to see, I'm doing her skin 2/110. So it looks really smooth. That's a little bit of her hair already starting. Now, I started doing this 2/110, and I was liking the way it was looking, but I'm like, why is this feeling difficult? Because I've been doing, you know, full coverage, and I do full coverage on 28 count, and I'm doing 2/110 with my full coverage. And why is this feeling so much more difficult? And then when I finished stitching, I realized because this is 32 count, it's not 28 count. So I am doing 2/110 on 32 count, which is significantly more difficult than 28. Go figure, right? But it does look really smooth. Now, because of, you know, the fact that the skin is light and the fabric's light, I don't know if you can actually see it that well, but I think it's gonna look really good. And I like that as an alternative for the skin. I like doing the skin small like that, but doing it 10 instead of full, you know, 1/1. I like that better. Okay, and that is everything that I stitched this week. Now, I have something that I need to discuss with you guys, because I came to a conclusion this week. And you guys know I am very adventurous, I guess, if you want to call it, with my fabrics. And like, I like color, and I like model fabric and stuff like that. But I will admit when something isn't working. And I went to go stitch on Bianca Bella this week, and every time I've spun and Bianca Bella comes up, I'm like dragging my feet, and I'm like, what is the problem? And I realized the problem is that I thought that this fabric, which I think this fabric is so gorgeous, and I thought it was gonna be a perfect match. And I think that's the problem, is it's too close of a match to the colors in the actual chart. And I just feel like I'm doing this work and nothing's showing up. And I want to nip it in the bud now, because I don't want to keep working and working and working and not love it, because I should love it. I love Bianca Bella. She reminds me of my mom. I've said that before. And I just think this is such a pretty chart. And this is such pretty fabric, and I don't think that they are working together. I can't see it, and it's not working. So I need to pull this out, use this fabric for something else. Don't know what, but something that has not a purple base. And I think that she needs to go on something that's more opposite, like in the color wheel. Like, I think she needs to go on something that's a peachy color or something like that. In fact, the fabric that I got at Hanukkah, that pretty peachy color that I got from, I'm looking around like I have it sitting here. I think I put it away. I should have put it away. Yeah, but anyway, so I think she needs to go on some kind of, something that has more of like an orange or peachy or even pink. She would look good on. So she is going to go away for now. I'm going to frog out this fabric and put it back in my stash for something else. And I don't know when Bianca Bella is going to come back out. Maybe next year. Right now, after I started Sweet Pea Fairy, I'm not feeling the urge to start anything new. In fact, I have Florentina kitted up as well, and I pulled her and put her away. I mean, she's completely kitted up. She's completely kitted up and ready to go, and I'm not wanting to start her yet. Which I found with me, it's like that. I either have this like, oh yes, I need to start it right this second, and then I go for it. But if I'm not feeling it, if I'm feeling like, okay, I'm happy with what I have now, then I don't want to start something and just get 10 stitches in and call it a whip. It's not. So yeah, so Bianca Bella is going to go back in the kitted up to be stitched eventually place. And I'm going to frog out the work that I did on this, which I hate. I hate frogging. I mean, who likes it? But I think overall, I'm going to be a lot happier doing that. So yeah, you know, I think it was a nice attempt. I mean, I love this fabric, and this fabric is going to look gorgeous for something else. I just think that I got caught up in the, oh look, it's going to match, and matching is not what you want between your fabric and your figure. You want complement. You don't want match, because match means disappear. Complement means she'll stand out. So yeah, so I'm not sure I will use this fabric for. Probably still a fairy or a mermaid or something like that, but it will have to be a different fairy or mermaid. So, you know what would look really good on this one, and I don't even have it. There's like a chrysanthemum fairy or daffodil fairy or something that's like got a lot of yellow in her. That would probably look really pretty on this. So maybe something with a lot of yellow. Although yellow's not my favorite. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to have to frog this and carefully, because I don't want to hurt the fabric. But that was a decision I made this week. It was hard to make that decision, but I realized I just wasn't stitching on Bianca Bella. Like I was like every time it was spun, I was like, I don't feel like it. And if that's happening, there's a reason, because normally, like, I mean, obviously some days I feel like stitching on one thing and rather than another, but if I'm constantly like, no, I don't want to feel it, I don't want to stitch on that, when it's a fancy lady that I should love stitching on, there's something going on. And I think that the problem is that I just don't like this fabric with it. So that is the decision I made. And it's tough. I mean, you know, but I've said this before. It's like when you are kind of into the bolder fabrics, sometimes it doesn't work. I've had that happen before. I've had it happen 2 or 3 times, and I've had to just suck it up and say, hey, you made a mistake, start over. And, you know, and that happens. So that is the decision I made. Okay, the other thing that I feel like it's a big confession. I think I've given up a little bit on doing the Instagram monthly theme progress thing. I didn't do it again last week for March. I didn't feel like it, and I don't really feel like taking a ton of pictures and putting it together for this week either. So I don't know. I liked when I did it in January, February, but it was a lot of work that it was just, yeah, I don't know. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm just not that active on Instagram, and it's a lot of work and a lot of doing fiddly stuff on my phone that I don't enjoy. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna necessarily do that. Hopefully it's not a big disappointment, but I don't think that a lot of you guys are on Instagram like waiting for me to post that what am I doing this month theme thing. But yeah, so I think that that's where it's at. I mean, I might still do one, but the reality is probably not. So rest of my plans for the coming week is, you know, more of the same, stitching on my fancy folk. I'm enjoying it. Just want to get more done. Let's see, what is my next month, April, is going to be friends and family, so all different stuff that you haven't seen in a while. Yeah, so I mean, it's not time to start pulling all that stuff out yet, but in the back of my head I'm thinking about it. And then yeah, I think that's it. I work a little bit more on that diamond painting maybe. I enjoyed playing the games with my friend and working on my little golden brick, so that worked really well. And we kind of have a tentative plan to maybe do it every other Saturday, so that'll be good, because it's motivating for me. Yeah, I think that that's basically it. So let me know what you think about hanging Eva. And a lot of people said that they were excited when I said talked about doing a, you know, like a sparkly floss video. So just so you know, I am working on it. I haven't sat down to film anything yet, but I've been gathering all of my, you know, sparkly golds, different things to show you guys, different types. There, can you see? And I know I have more, and I just have to like find it. I have some like bullion stuff, and at one point I got like a little pack of all these like different gold things, and they're not in the container that I thought they would be in, so I have to find them. But once I do that, I can put together this video, and yeah, that'll be fun. So, and somebody had said that they would like it if I would demo a few specialty stitches, like, that are maybe used in Chatelaines. I definitely can demo a, I'll do an eyelet type stitch. I can show you guys how to do that, and how to do, what is it called? Is it a Rhodes stitch? Because those can be confusing when you're just looking on the chart. Even in explanation, sometimes they're hard. But I might be able to demo a few for you. So guys, let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to see specifically, and I'll work on working on that. So anyway, until I see you guys again, I hope you have a great week coming up. Ooh, it's starting to get kind of windy outside. Stay warm if it's cold where you are. Stay cool if it's hot. I hope you have nice weather and a good stitching week. I think I'm going to make some soup today in my Instant Pot. I'm going to make some bean and kale soup. That sounds good, right? I have kind of, what I usually do when I have an idea like that is I look at a couple recipes, get an idea of what's supposed to go in it, and then just do it. So that's, I think, gonna happen today. And some stitching and crafting, and maybe resting, because, you know, today was a spring forward day, which I didn't even realize until I was looking at my calendar yesterday. So I got more of a late start because, yeah. So it is, 11 o'clock already. Doesn't feel like 11 o'clock, of course, because my body is saying it's 10 o'clock, but, yeah. Anyway, so I am springing forward slowly, which I think is going to be my title. Today. Okay, now I'm just rambling, so I hope you guys have a great week coming up. Until I see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Have a great week, you guys.